Hi, I'm Andrew and welcome to the Neon Knitter. So today's video is I'm going to take you on a tour of the Shepherd's Harvest Sheep and Wool Festival for 2026. It's always Mother's Day weekend and it is at the Washington County Fairgrounds in Lake Elmo, Minnesota. And I had this intro all filmed for you guys. I filmed it when I got there, but it was super windy today, so the audio quality was absolute crap. So I'm filming this now after getting back to my apartment. So yeah. So here is my ticket for 2026. And here is the catalog or brochure they give out. There's a big Stephen B ad on the back. Also, right inside the front cover is this ad for the St. Cloud Spin Fest and Fiber Fair. And you guys know that I go to that one every year, so expect to see that for Saturday in June. Um, and then it's got a map of the festival as well as like who's in what building. Um, yeah. So there are, let me see here. There are 5 buildings of vendors, plus the barn also has vendors. So, yeah. So building A is basically the demos, but because they've had so many new vendors, they've had to have some vendors be in there as well. So Gone Batty Fibers and Rocking Horse Farm are in Building A as well. Also, the Minnesota Knitters Guild's in there. And Minnesota Knitters Guild is who puts on Yarn Over every fall that I go to. And I can talk about this more in a later video, but Yarn Over is actually moving to a new venue this year. So, yeah. But I'll talk more about that this fall when I go to Yarn Over. But there's stuff like that, and then the vendors that are in the barn also have an animal with them in the barn as well. So, other than that, most vendors are in buildings B, C, D, and E. Um, so yeah. And then there's also the Yarn Adventures Yarn Truck. So I had a really great time at Shepherd's Harvest. And yeah, so without further ado, here is my tour of the festival, which is about just under 45 minutes. I think it was like 43 minutes when I filmed it. I might be speeding up some of the parts where I'm just walking between buildings, so it might be a little shorter than that. And also, it was super crowded when I made my video, so sorry if I'm kind of all over the place and bumping into people. But I really did try my best to um, film it as with the least amount of shaking as possible. So, yeah, so here's my tour, and I will get back to you guys afterwards to show you what I got. Okay, so before I show what I bought, I'm going to talk about what I'm wearing briefly. I haven't been doing as many outfit of the day videos lately because I have 3 new finished objects and I'm going to film a podcast tomorrow night. And I've been waiting to show them off in a podcast before I film outfit of the day videos wearing them. And of course, when I finish an item, I tend to wear it a lot because I go to 5 different craft groups and I want to show it off at all of them. So, um, but this is all you're going to see of this garment right now because I will show it off further in my podcast. But this is the Blank Slate Tee by Winter's Weather Knits, and this is yarn that I bought 2 years ago at Shepherd's Harvest. Um, I still haven't cast on what I bought last year, and I'm also second guessing my color choices, so um, more on that later, not in this video. Um, but the red yarn is from Brown Sheep, and the variegated skein is from Gnome Schoolhouse. So yeah, and both vendors were very happy to see what I made out of their yarn. Now, the brown sheep yarn is not brown sheep themselves doesn't vend there. It's another lady that sells a bunch of brown sheep. So, yeah. So, yeah, I'm very happy with this, and I will show it off in my next podcast. But just since you guys haven't seen it, I thought I would briefly talk about it. So, let's talk about what I purchased at Shepherd's Harvest. So, the first thing I got were some buttons. So, one of the vendors in the barn, I believe it was Orchard Acres Textiles, I think, had a bin full of vintage buttons, and I think they were like a dollar something a piece. And there were two buttons that I found that I really wanted, and so I got her attention and said, "Hey, I would like to buy these." And instead of telling me the price, she's like, "Just take them. I don't want them." So I get the sense that that really cheap price tag is there just to get people to not ransack the bin of them. I don't know, because she was like, "Just take them, please." So, and I was like, "Are you serious?" And she's like, "Yeah, they're free. Take them." So, so she didn't make me pay for them, but they're all vintage buttons that she had. So I got this one. I think it's really pretty. It's got these flowers on it. Hopefully you can see that good enough. Hopefully it's not blurry on camera. And then the other one's the same one, but it's a teardrop instead. So I'm thinking I'll do one of two things with these. Either I will, because this is all she had of them, of this particular design. So either I will do a Henley neck that requires two buttons, and I'll put the round one on top, and then the teardrop with the point facing down on the bottom, or I might try to take a photo of one of the two of them and do a Google Lens search to see if I can find more on eBay or Etsy somewheres. I'm not very hopeful that I'll find more, but you never know. But I'm not that optimistic that I'll find more, but I might try to look just in case because I think that might be kind of fun. So I might do that. And then what else I bought yarn for, or what else? The only thing I bought yarn for today. I've had this skein in my stash. I bought it 3.5 years ago at Stephen B. It is KFI Collection Indulgence Kettle Dyed Fingering, 75% wool, 25% nylon, 494 yards. The color is called Mocha. I think that's really pretty. I like that shade of brown a lot. Um, but I figured it was time to use it. Sorry, there was a skein of yarn sticking out of my shelf and it's digging into my back. Um, so yeah, I figured it's time to use this skein. I've had it in my stash for a while. Um, and so the pattern I'm going to be doing is the Fluens tee. I forget the designer's name, but that will be on screen. So I'm going to be knitting the Fluens tee, and I knew this was a good yarn for because there's the top and then the bottom of it. The yoke is done in one color and the body's done in another color. I knew this would be a good skein for the yoke because my size requires 473 yards of yarn for the yoke colorway, and usually skeins are like 400, 435, 420, 465 yards, something like that, 440. Um, and so 473, it's usually like, well, you need 0.000001 skeins. And that to me is just really obnoxious because what do I do with the rest of the skein then? And so, this being 494 yards, I thought that would be a great choice to put in that project because then I wouldn't have to have a second skein of yarn because there's enough in it. So that's why I chose to have this skein in that project. And so, of course, what I shopped for was a yarn to go with it for the body of the sweater. And so this is what I got. This is from Imagination Gone Wild Fiber Company. I believe they are a brand new business. I don't know a lot about them. This is their first time vending at Shepherd's Harvest, and their website isn't fully up yet. It says coming soon when you go on their website, so I think they might be a brand new business. Also, they currently only do fingering weight yarns. They don't do DK, Sport, Worsted. They don't do any of that. They only do sock yarn at the moment. But it is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon yarn. It is 460 yards, and the color is called Morning Coffee. So I got 2 of them because that's what I need for my project. And then this is called Mocha, as I mentioned before. So it's a very coffee themed color palette, which is weird because I don't drink coffee. So, but it's a very coffee themed palette. I think it's very pretty. And I'm looking forward to this project for the Fluens tea. So, yeah, that is what I bought at Shepherd's Harvest. And if you guys have any ideas for these buttons, definitely leave it down below. Or if you know of any Henley neck patterns that call for just 2 buttons, definitely let me know. Um, um, and then if I am able to find more online, I will let you guys know, I guess. But otherwise, I'm Andrew. Thank you for checking in here at the Neon Knitter, and I will see you in my next video.